What do you get when you combine a bunch of really cool video game coders with the system reference document for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition? You get a very unique 5th edition tabletop kind of game. We're going to talk about a video game today that I am enjoying a whole bunch, and I think you will too, called Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Hey everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and in this video we're going to talk about the video game Solasta, Crown of the Magister, which takes the 5th edition system reference document and basically builds a video game from that. It is a very interesting take. Super fun gameplay. If you are a fan of 5th edition, I think you will enjoy this game. And if you're like me, you've been kind of chomping at the bit for a really good 5th edition game, and those are out there. Well, they have the license for Dungeons & Dragons, but they don't necessarily have the heart. And I think a lot of us wanted specifically the codified world, the rules, to be in a video game format. Solasta does that quite well. So we're going to talk about the system reference document, and we're going to play some video games. Before all of that, though, I need to talk about sponsorships. First of all, this is a paid sponsorship by Solasta, but my opinions are my own, and this is going to be a review of the game from my perspective. So there you go. Right here. Now, if we switch over to the system reference document, there's no art, there's no page, there's no nothing really. It's just the text of the game, but this document is part of the open game license. And I am allowed to use this, anyone is allowed to use this document to create D&D-esque stuff. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the whole gist of it, but there is permission to copy, modify, distribute the files collectively known as the system reference document. So you could take this and make other games based on D&D, but you have to include some of this legal information. Now, what Solasta did is they took all of the rules of Dungeons & Dragons and the races and stuff that they were allowed to within this framework. So gnomes and half-elves, half-orcs, traits like Fey ancestry, dark vision, all of these words that we are familiar with because we are Dungeons & Dragons fans, those are allowed to be into this Solasta game. So it's not going to be a world you're familiar with, but it is a really interesting fantasy world that you'll play in as a tiefling, half-orc, what have you. Well, the races that they have so far, which is not all of them. But going through certain spells, magic missile, burning hands, you're going to have access to these. Plus, where the rules fall short, the developers at Solasta have been creating some really interesting I don't want to say patches or fixes, but they're extrapolating on the rules as intended in a very smart way. So jumping over here, this is available on Steam. I think it is only available on Steam. And as I said earlier, in early access. Reviews are very positive. It came out October 20th, 2020, and it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's a isometric kind of 3D view of above, and you move around your characters. You control 4 characters. So as I said earlier, this game is in early access, so it is not 100% done, but it is playable. It's a lot of fun. Now, the game itself is $35, and there are some DLC content, which is a supporter pack and some other things. So if you're interested in this, search for it, check it out on Steam, and I'm sure you can find it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's dive into some gameplay. So right off the start, I want to talk about this is a turn-based game. So if you are familiar with not necessarily games like Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights 2, although those are not 100% true turn-based, you can pause the game and players do take turns and they have initiative, but this game specifically plays out like like Dungeons and Dragons at the table. So you roll initiative and everybody has their turn and they take their turns, and you have reactions and you have bonus actions and movement, and you can do all of the stuff that you can normally do at the table on a grid, but they're doing it within this game. So a turn-based RPG based on the D&D SRD 5.1 rule set. You get to decide your destiny and play some epic heroes. There are 4 characters to choose from. Or 4 character slots, I should say. And you get to either pick from pre-generated characters, or you can build a character yourself. And before we continue, I wanted to talk about that this game was created by tabletop players. So they have a very good mindset of what they wanted out of a game, which I think is what a lot of us wanted out of a video game version of the 5th edition rule set. Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Now I have a game I can continue, but I think I want to try some new characters here. So let's just make a character so we can see what it's like. So we have ancestry selection. We have to determine our ancestry. So what do we want to do? We got halflings, human, half elf, high elf, or hill dwarf. And I assume more ancestry, more races are coming into this game. But like I said, it's early access, so you get to be part of the build with them if you so purchase it. I like dwarves. We're gonna make a dwarf. So dwarves have 5 move and a constitution +2, saving throws, wisdom +1. So I can be a hill dwarf. That I get dwarven toughness and dark vision. We can be a male or female or a dwarf. And so we're gonna do that and select next. Class selection, understood. So I would like to make a nice cleric dwarf. So right off the get-go, edit equipment. Oh yeah, so I can do one of the others. Okay, so I can do scale mail, warhammer, priest pack, or explorer's pack. And so this is another cool thing. There's a lot of times where it says hold Alt for more information, and it will just tell you a little bit of flavor text and some other stuff that go along with that. So, divine domains, that's it. Now, again, these are the domains that either they have created, the people at Solasta using the SRD as a template, or it's some of the stuff. Like you'll find the life, I think, is exactly the domain that is in the player's handbook. Blessed healer, yeah. So, but there are some interesting ones. We've got ice, which gives me lightning bolt and fly. Lightning gives me lightning bolt and fly as well. Oh, so these elemental ones, you get elemental spells. Plus, my lightning damage is halved, and I get a bonus cantrip. Yes, understood. So I get a selected deity. Oh, that was earlier. Okay. So I want battle. Yeah. God of valor and awesomeness. And so it tells you at higher levels what you're gonna get. That's really cool. Your background. So there are backgrounds in the game. And your alignment does a lot of that. So with my, I want to be the lawkeeper, maybe? Yeah. Personal flags, lawfulness. Yeah. You must choose personality flags for your selected background. Oh, I choose 2. Violence and lawfulness, okay. All right. Now, ability scores. Ability scores are the 6 scores. Point buy or dice rolls. We're gonna do dice. We're gonna do dice rolls. So right now I have. Those are pretty good scores. So let's put a 14 in strength. I don't know, 13 in con. 15 in wisdom, charisma, intelligence, and dexterity. Yeah, and here we are. First name. Jorphdan. Clan. Silent PH. Oh yeah, we got some good faces. I think he's gonna be a mustardy boy. Yep. Oh yeah, these are nice. So a couple of things I want to talk about in general of the game while we're looking at some awesome footage. One, I really love the combat. So in other isometric RPGs, especially Dungeons & Dragons themed one, like Baldur's Gate 2 or Neverwinter Nights, you had an active battle system that you could pause, and that was fun, and that's kind of like all I remember having, but this turn-based is exactly what D&D is. Like, I go, and then Joe goes, and then the Goblin goes, and then Stephanie goes. And it's been really fun to like plot out not only the character that I like, the character I'm kind of like, oh, I'm the wizard for sure, but the character that I'm playing as opposed, and then there are other 4 characters as well. And you can get some really cool synergy going. One other thing that I really enjoy is that there is a reputation system that goes along with this game, which really only, I mean, it adds to the story, but it adds to the replayability for me. So when I replay a game, I like to go to the opposite side, you know, instead of playing through entire Knights of the Old Republic light side, I'm going to do the whole game again as dark side just to see what happens. And so picking one of these different factions and really like dedicating myself to that, and then in turn making the other ones upset, awesome, super fun, and increases replayability. If you are familiar with D&D 5e, which watching this channel you probably are, then it is very intuitive and it's fun to play D&D in a new way. If you are forever DM like myself, which I shouldn't say that, I play a lot of other games, but if you are constantly being a dungeon master, this can be a fun way to finally get that like rogue wizard cleric synergy that you've always wanted to happen, but you've never gotten to do. So the control between all 4 characters and just like the mechanics are there. It's fun. It's kind of silly, but I enjoy the dice rolls. I enjoy seeing the dice rolls and not just the d20s. I know that my arrow did a d6, or I know that my sword did a d8. I know that the various weapons do various different things. Spells. I really liked the fact that I cast Magic Missile. All 3 hit because it's Magic Missile, but it showed me that I did, 2 + 1, 4 + 1, 3 + 1. Like it shows you the math. It's quick, so you can ignore it if you don't care, but it's there for the people like myself that looks at it and goes, that's cool. And then finally, this hasn't been released yet in the game, but if you look at their dev notes and stuff, they're working on it. And they've got a really great video that I'm gonna like put up here, but they are working on a dungeon creation tool. So I will be able to, plot out a dungeon visually, and then save that as a file and run it within the game to take friends and to share it with other players and stuff through the game, or through a dungeon that I made. And that's awesome. And it looks really intuitive, really awesome. I'm sure they're always refining it. And again, this is made by tabletop people. Like, people who are used to sitting at a table and drawing a map or laying down some terrain, or like, oh, by the way, here's a tent. And now you can do that and you can plot out where the monsters are. And I am so excited for this feature. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Solasta, Crown of the Magister. I give it a super big thumbs up. I've really enjoyed this game so far from what I've played, and I'm going to continue playing it. So follow me on Twitch, and perhaps we can play it together, and that would be a lot of fun. If you are interested in this game, search for Solasta specifically on Steam, and you can find it there as an early access game, and it's only going to get better. Guiding Bolt! That was a good one. That was good. That was fun. It's very satisfying. Thanks again, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video.